Hello everyone, my name is StarLightbear and today I am watching Jaiden Animations, the darkest Pokemon game you ever played. Now let's get into this video.
I've played a lot of Pokemon in my days, and by that, I mean I've played the same Pokemon game with various different skins. But I'm here today to showcase one of, if not the most unique ideas for a Pokemon game Nintendo has published for our tiny little hearts. And that game is called Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. XD.
Now I have never played this game, so this will be interesting.
A bit unfortunate, but it came out in 2005, so they get a pass. Why am I talking about it? I think it's an underground game not enough people know about. It does something different, kind of shakes up the formula. It's constantly overshadowed by its predecessor, Pokemon Coliseum. And yeah, okay, I played it as a kid. I'm very biased. Is that what you wanted? If you've not heard of it or played...
Nor have I played Pokemon Stadium, so I don't know these two games at all.
You're in for a treat today. The game opens up to a cargo boat, the SS Libra, out at sea, where we find the captain and guy who steers standing at the helm. All is calm and serene when suddenly they get swatted. And it's not no ordinary SWAT today, folks. No, sir. This is a Lugia SWAT. They run out to see what's going on, and the captain looks up and makes this face as if he wants to kiss Lugia passionately on the lips. But Lugia's not here for kisses. He's here for the opposite of kisses, which is crime. He hyper beams the cargo ship and then steals it. You heard me right. Just blasts the thing point blank and takes it away. Lugia's ship now. The presumably only two people on the entire boat fall into the water and are left to just drown.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good question. It should be at least from 50 to 100 people of staff on a ship like that. So what happened to the rest of the staff? Did Lugia just passionately kiss them? Good question.
In the ocean, I guess. Well, that was a bit raw. What are we, a minute in and two people are dead? Gen 10 could never. Hard cut to me, because that's more important. You play as this boy kid named Michael, but actually his name is Jaiden now, because that's me. The game throws you into the middle of this intense-looking fight between a Salamence and Metagross, both level 50. I don't know where I am, what the stakes are, who I am, but this battle seems really important and tough, so I'm gonna give it my all, and immediately Oko it. I did it! Screen goes black. I open my eyes, everything's blurry. Wake up, Jaiden, you've been in a coma for 15 years. Turns out I live in a friendly laboratory run by this Professor Crane and his lab guys. I get up and the guy running the battle simulation tells me how good of a battler I've become. Aw, thanks, man. Then he immediately negs me by telling me it's about time I go out and get myself more Pokemon besides my one lame Eevee. Backhanded compliment at a child, but I'll take it, I think. I go into Crane's office where him and my mom are talking, and he says he heard from the battle coach that my battling skills have improved dramatically, and how proud he is of me. To which my own mom tells him to stop giving me compliments and praise because I'm gonna end up spoiled rotten. I don't know what kind of a response that is to a child receiving
Yeah, no, that's a bit rough. Stop complimenting my child. He doesn't need compliments or he's gonna become spoiled and rotten like my daughter. How dare you? But your name is Karen.
praise. Either I'm already a cocky little bastard, or I'm being currently emotionally neglected by everyone in this building. Whatever it is, I don't think it's healthy for my mental development. To make this mother look even worse, we realize her only other child, Jovi, is missing and no one is looking for her. The world is only filled with overpowered wild rabbit animals and crazy people. No, I'm sure it's fine you haven't started looking for her. Keep doing what you're doing. I get a lead saying she really likes hanging out with family friend mad scientist Dr. Kaminko, so I head over to his house and I'm about to knock on his creepy door when this tiny little blind man, Chobin, the doctor's assistant, walks up and is like, "Burglar!" and challenges me to a battle, to which I win because he only has a level 5 Sunkern. Jovi comes out and is like, "Oh, hi, big brother, it's Jovi. Did you get lost, big brother? Silly big brother, Jovi will guide you back home." Alright, I see why no one was looking for it now. We return home to
Yeah, I
the
can
lab
see
and they
that
present
too.
me with a snag machine. A machine that allows the user to catch shadow Pokemon, which are Pokemon that have been so abused that they turn evil. Now, they're saying they haven't seen or heard of any shadow Pokemon that exist anymore
Why does it never explore this type of plot in the mainstream Pokemon with Ash and Pikachu and all that? Why has there never been anything like this? Because this is part of the Pokemon world as well, and it makes sense for this type of story. You know, Pokemon get abused so much that they turn dark, they turn evil. Hell, it makes sense for the first season of Pokemon with Charmander, why during its evolutions from Charmeleon and Charizard, why it won't listen to Ash. This will make perfect sense if it, instead of just, because Ash didn't get its badges properly, it was this, that Charizard was evil and Ash had to find a way to cure Charizard to turn it good.
because they've all been purified years ago. But who knows when they could start popping up again? Better be safe than sorry. Bam! Some guys from a secret organization called Cypher bust into the lab, beat everyone up, steal Professor Crane, show off their shadow Pokemon, and run off to their secret base to never be seen again.
Oh shit.
Well, I'll be. The lab is in shambles, not knowing what to do, but then decides they're gonna...
I'm sorry, what was that?
Well, I'll be. The lab is in...
The lab is in shambles. You got the doctor here, not sure what to do. Her, not entirely sure. Jaiden playing as a dude, not sure what to do. And then you got Miss Demonic Smile over here. Ah, IB. The blushes on her cheeks here, and here do not show up on my recording at all. Interesting. But why is she laying on the ground? And why is she smiling about it?
Shambles, not knowing what to do, but then decides they're gonna complete their purification chamber in his honor because shadow Pokemon are back and they want to do something about it. They send me off to this seaside town, Gadionport, to retrieve a machine part they need, and Jovi pesters our mom to come with because Jovi doesn't think I can handle going out on my own, and Jovi needs to hold my hand and guide her big brother the whole way. Okay, not only does this little snot talk in the third person for no reason, maybe our mom didn't care enough to get us any education. Perhaps she was worried the teacher would give us a compliment, heaven forbid. But she's also the most annoying character I've ever witnessed in any media.
Yeah, no, this is creepy. This part, yup. And just a slowly darkening background. Jodie should be a villain in the next Pokemon game, but adult version of her. Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, and I've watched an episode of My Hero Academia with the Grape Kid in it. We go to Gadionport, and not 2 seconds pass until Jovi pisses off this random guy, Zook, who happens to be the buffest man in the world. He's about to punt her, and I'm about to do nothing about it, when this old man and his color-coded henchmen step in and obliterate his Shadow Zangoose. Old man, I was about to be free of everything that is bad in my life, and you took that away from me. We get the part, head back, and Mom tells me about this spot in Agate Village called the Relic Stone where you can naturally purify Pokemon. I don't know why you're making your own purifying chamber then when there's a rock that already does that.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good point. Why make a machine that purifies the Pokemon when you got a stone that purifies those said Pokemon to good Pokemon? Why go for the effort to make that machine? When you got something cheaper, you just transport those Pokemon to there, purify them naturally. Yeah, I digress. I'll keep watching.
I go to Agate, and this very enthusiastic man with a Pikachu shows me the stone, and I'm like, cool. To which he's like, by the way, my friend Vander might know where Cypher took Crane. Oh, Okay. I go talk to Vander and he points to this random spot in the desert on my map and is like, oh, they're right here. I saw them. What were you doing out there? That's literally just sand. Wow, would you look at that? A headquarters. Huh. I start infiltrating the base, battling all the grunts that fall from the ceiling, snagging any shadow Pokemon I find, until I reach Pink Hatsune Miku, who's trying to get information out of Crane about purifying shadow Pokemon. I battle her and win, which means I get to unkidnap him, and while heading out, I find this data ROM on the ground. Huh. This seems very important and like it has a lot of secret information.
Yes, very important data ROM that is just on the ground in the middle of nowhere. Like, for sure, that totally makes sense. That, yep, StarLightbear, you're making something out of molehill that doesn't need to be a molehill. When they could have just gone to the server room, copied some of the data in there, or copied the data onto the ROM, and take it before they left. No. That had to be a ROM just placed on the ground, just suspiciously. Yep.
About Cypher on it. Convenient. Brain returns to the lab and everyone's happy, and then they send me to Pyrite Town to find Net, a guy that should be able to crack the ROM and access all the information on it. So I head there and he's like, yeah, we can crack this, smile. While he's hacking it, I go out and play around in a random cave and run into Mirror B. This guy doesn't do much in this game, honestly, but I just want to make sure you know he exists and listen to his music. I go check on Ned again, and Cypher's busted and beat everyone up and kidnapped another person. Have you guys min-maxed how to kidnap people or something? You're 2 for 2 at this point, and are scarily efficient at it. They tried a hostage situation the data ROM back, and even though I beat up this big man and take all his shadow Pokemon, Ned still wusses out and gives the ROM back. He thought he was being 2 steps ahead because he saved all the information on his server already, but Cypher just logs on and deletes everything anyway. Net says the only thing he remembers from the ROM was that Cypher was behind the disappearance of the SS Libra, and they're about to attack this city nearby called Fennec, and someone needs to go warn them.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just Mr. Scooter across the desert and save everyone today, aren't I? I head to Fennec to warn them.
Okay, this is the one issue I have with the more typical classic Pokemon games, and up to somewhat now these days. Why is it the young children, the teenagers, like the 11 or 11, 12-year-old kids that should be, going to school and all that, out and about saving the world, when there's perfectly good adults that I'm assuming were much more powerful Pokemon? Why they're sending a young kid to do that work? That never really made sense to me. On why that always was a bit like, yeah.
The mayor about the attack, and as soon as I arrive, this lady hits me with a confetti cannon, congratulates me on being the millionth visitor to the city, and shoos me away to celebrate at Real Gam Tower. I try to get around her because this is important, but she's determined to gatekeep me no matter what I do. So I just go there and realize she literally sent a child to illegally gamble his life away. Wow! No one in this region likes children, do they? After not being able to figure out how to play bingo, I head back, sneak into the mayor's house, distract his house sitter with music, and find out the mayor was trying to write a note to Justy, the city's gym leader, warning him about the Cypher attack. I don't know why the mayor was trying to ask this random gym guy to help, but he was kidnapped halfway through writing it, so I guess it doesn't matter. Cypher realizes I now know what's up, and everyone in town reveals themselves to be disguised Cypher grunts. Oh my god, they kidnapped the entire town. I don't care.
I love that. I love they kidnapped a whole entire town. Just straight up kidnapped everyone. Not just the people, the animals, the Pokemon, everything. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if they kidnapped the buildings.
What kind of organization you're from, if you can successfully kidnap a village, you've earned my respect. I beat up Cypher, rescue their shadow Pokemon, and free literally everyone in the town who is locked in the city basement. Justy says he saw something suspicious going on in the desert and points to another random sand spot on my map I should go investigate. Honestly, how are all these people just stumbling onto these shenanigans in the middle of the desert? And why are they able to give the latitude longitude of these locations after finding them? This has got to be like tens of miles out from any sort of civilization. This is where people run out of gas in their car and then shrivel up and die before anyone can find them. Why were you here? Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the cargo ship.
That's a good question.
How did you find this? Alright, what is so enthralling about this desert that crime and vigilante justice is constantly going on in every square inch of this place? Cypher's running around on the ship, and after I take their shadow Pokemon and chase them out, this group of strangers calling themselves Team Snag'em walks up and roofies me. I wake up, realize they stole my snag machine. This random...
Yeah, that's something the Pokemon franchise has kind of left behind, actually using the Pokemon for crime. Like, it's... Yeah, like, they're not using the Pokemon for the abilities that they've got. You got bulbous, berry thing that can, make people fall asleep. There should be more options like that in Pokemon games. We can use Pokemon abilities to do things to... Yeah, that... idea for a Pokemon game. A Pokemon world. Every country is a region. So, let's say, because I think, like Kanto and Johto and all that are kind of based around Japan and all that. Have a region large, but you can choose to do other things. You can play as a member of Team Rocket or Plasma, Magna, Sophia, Team Spheres, and all that. Miss opportunity with stuff like.
An old man who just started living in the wrecked boat said he saw them head off in that direction and points to the middle of nowhere on my map again. You people are beyond me. I show up and wow, another headquarters for crime. I make my way to their head honcho, Gonzap, who's trying to put on my snag machine, but he's too big and muscular and adult, and since I am a child, it does not fit on his giant muscle arm. He pretty much gives up, asks if I want to join Team Snag'em. I say yes, but he fights me anyway, and after I beat him, he's like, actually, you can have your arm thing back. We're not enemies. Awesome. So why am I here? You drugged me, stole my stuff, and then just called friendship and gave it back. I find Cypher's Shadow Pokemon Factory and walk up to the actual biggest men I've ever seen in the world. How naive I was to think Zook was big. Foolish me. Anyway, they're about to beat me TF up when Gonzap shows up, expresses his devotion to our newly blossoming friendship, and roofies them for me. Thanks, man. You're really consistent at that. I go inside and climb to the roof where their power generator is. There's a tiny little piece of paper there that says, use system lever to adjust voltage. Do not raise voltage too high. Crank! A guy comes out and starts yelling at me with his Pokemon when the tiny old man who accidentally ruined my life in Gadianport comes on screen and is like, I'm evil and creating a Pokemon that's unpurifiable. Come get me. This is my IP address. I need to cross the ocean to get to him because he's basically on evil Hawaii. So I take this Robo Kyogre from Kaminko, speedboat my way there, and you guessed it, fight everyone in the building/volcano until I get to the big little man. After fighting an entire country's worth of people, I find him. His name's Greevil, by the way. And he's like, I'm surprised you made it this far. Ha 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 ha. Well, I'm busy, don't bother me. And blocks me with a giant pane of glass.
Now that is smart. blocking the player, like where they can't reach it, or they do that instead of having this what looked like to be a side door that was over here beforehand.
Well, I'm busy. Don't bother me. And
yeah, so like you got two doors here, so one of them might lead it into here. But because you got this glass here, and there was like if there was no doors here, it would be smart if you use a Pokemon's ability to destroy the glass wall. That's a missed opportunity on using Pokemon abilities to a full extent. Like if you had a Piplup and a Charmander and had the Piplup use War Gun on one point of the glass, and then like flamethrower after, or with the water heater up, you got a hot war gun. There's so many missed opportunities they can do, which is silly. I digress. Play the video again.
Blocks me with a giant pane of glass. Honestly, out of all the fictional villains I've seen, this is surprisingly decently reasonable. But I'm not gonna just sit here and stare at him behind the glass like a goldfish at PetSmart. So I just walk around and use the side door, which really sets him off. I mean, dude, either lock the door or don't have it. This is just what doors do. Greevil's like, you blew up our shadow Pokemon factory, you got past my glass. That's it. I'm summoning Shadow Lugia, the first Pokemon to ever be unpurifiable. Come forth and obliterate this small boy. To which I just Master Ball it. Really overlooked that one, didn't you, mate? He may not be purifiable, but he's mine now. Huge L. Greevil gets so beyond pissed that he decides to open his creepy eyes and fight me himself. And I was surprised to realize not only does he have a team of all shadow Pokemon, but he somehow nabbed Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. I'll be honest, it was a really hard fight because shadow Pokemon are super effective against all non-shadow Pokemon. I don't know how it took me this long to tell you that, but that's how it works. So instead of trying to catch them all like I've been doing this whole time, I really just beat them up and they ran away. So I win! Cypher has officially lost everything, and it's all because of me, the little boy. Blue henchman runs up to Greevil and is like, "Sir, I have a plan. Let's blow up the island with the kid on it." Which is like, oh my god. And then red henchman is like, "Okay, that's a bit too far, man. Dad, let's go home." Yeah, they pulled the I'm your father/son twist on us, but it has very little effect on me because I do not care about these people. Anyway, they decide to not blow up the island with me on it and stop being evil, I think. I'm like 60% sure. And then happy ending, I just go home. So what do you think? For some reason, I really liked the game as a kid. I never actually beat it because I didn't know how to get past the gatekeeping woman in Fennec. Glad I figured it out this time. I also wanted to mention how lively the animations are in this game. Sure, some of the Pokemon look god-awful. They gave Houndour human knees that bend forward, but they're all just so expressive and show so much care and personality. It made me pretty sad that current games don't show this much passion, but I guess that's just what makes these games more cherishable.
Now that is the truth when it comes to current Pokemon Gen games. They do not have the passion as they used to. I can understand they're more of an open world game now, but take an extra couple of years if you need to and really give the game the passion it deserves. You look at like Pokemon Ruby, Pokemon Sapphire, Pokemon Emerald, those games are full of passion. It was like there's some key parts in that game I can remember, but with the new current Pokemon games, it just like if you look at Pokemon Violet and Scarlet, they're just like an empty, desolate somewhat world. Yeah, grass and trees and bushes and stuff, the random spot of trainers and stuff, but there's no real sustenance in there. There's nothing to make you stop and go, oh, like, you know, you got like random bits of ruins here and there, But I don't think there was anything to really explain why there were ruins here, or then just, yeah, there could have been more in those games.
Well, anyway, the game was fun and weird. I liked it. See ya.
Hey, it's been a while. Anyway, this game also is like all double battles, and I thought that was really interesting. I'd like that to happen again in a new game. Nothing else really to say. Can't believe the queen's dead.
Okay, this is StarLightbear, everyone. Have a good one, and look forward to any future updates of videos I do.